We're continuing on page 130 under the subtitle, the Mayim Acharonim, which is the waters, the final waters after we eat bread. We're supposed to wash our hands with a little bit of water to get away whatever we would have on our fingers after eating, right? So that halacha is something that has a particular din about it, to make a differentiation between that and Mayim Rishonim, which is the waters that we wash our hands before we eat. So what's the main factor? You have to wash and you have to make Birkat HaMazon immediately. And there shouldn't be any time in between. It should be very quick, immediate. You wash the Mayim Acharonim, then you should immediately start the bracha. And that's why you'll see very, very often that the person that's going to do zimun, they're going to wash last, so that there's no waiting in between. So the rabbi brings up this in the middle of this entire build-up of Midah Keneged Midah and explaining how we can read some of the messages of Hashem, or if not, by now we have a lot of tools. We're going to continue in that manner in a minute, but the rabbi stops here for a moment and gives us a real live story about something that happened to tzaddikim that is verified, which is going to show the Midah Keneged Midah, and another tool that we're going to have in our belt now to start to be able to decipher some of the messages from Hashem. So the story is with the student of the Arizal, Rav Chaim Vital, who one time had a very sharp pain in his shoulder. So the Arizal asked him if he is careful to keep this halacha, that immediately when you're doing Mayim Acharonim, to make Birkat HaMazon. So the rabbi, Rav Chaim Vital said back to him, no, I'm not makpid about that. So the rabbi explained to him, well then that's the reason why you have this pain. Why? Because he explains that where's you had the pain? In the katef. And what's the word that says that after you wash your hands it should be immediately? It's tekef. So katef and tekef. What's the difference between them? You just jumble the word. It's the same exact letters. The rabbi was explaining to him that that's the message. That's how you figure it out. That was easy. The rabbi was giving him an example of how it's easy for the Arizal. He's able to tell you what's easy, right? I don't know if we wouldn't figure that out. But it's a derech now. Now that we have the idea, we can start to maybe, it doesn't mean you dwell on this, and it doesn't mean if something comes to you, so great. But if not, that's not important. You know, it's important that we try to connect it back to Hashem. Pains Hashem, have to make tshuva somewhere. And that was the way Hashem was talking to this tzaddik. Now, I don't think our shoulder pain has anything to do with that. However, it's a good area, and maybe we can all improve on Mayim Acharonim. It's definitely an area that even by religious people, we get relaxed about. Me personally, sometimes during the week, or very often during the week, I forget. I took it as a point to strengthen myself and try to remember and try to make a point to remember that, hey, Mayim Acharonim was an important point, and it's a very, very important maaseh that we could learn from, how to see the Midah Keneged Midah. So what was the Midah Keneged Midah there? So he got a pain, sudden, immediate pain, right? The same way that he didn't pray immediately is to show the Midah Keneged Midah. It's in the same realm. So we use this story to catapult us into understanding the tools, and giving us real live examples of how to use these tools. It's the main thing why we're in this chapter, to learn how to, not just to get the tools, not to just pick, but learn how to use, right? Not to just pick up things and message, okay, I picked up the message, so I'm getting a pain here, but it's to do something about it. That's our goal, and to learn how to use the tools. So we picked up the tool of Midah Keneged Midah. This is now a tool in our armor. We walk around with the Midah Keneged Midah tool. Oh, you say, Hashem, I don't know what you're doing to me, but help me understand the message. Or that alone is the message. If that's what we get to, that alone is the message. Again, strengthen ourselves every day in Emunah. Listen to the classes daily, because That is the only way we're going to maintain the emunah. Emunah is a daily thing. We have to speak about it all the time. We have to constantly be thinking about it. And that's how we live with Hashem. Shiviti Hashem Elokim Tamid. That's our job here. And we have to see it from tzaddikim. We have to see it in action. And there's no greater parasha of seeing all this in action than the parashiyot we're in now with Esav and Yaakov. All the emunah that's going on in this week's parasha with Yaakov and Esav and the berachot and the father and with Yitzhak loving him, and it's an unbelievable thing when you look at all these stories now with the new eyes, with eyes of emunah, with eyes of it's all Hashem and it's all what He wants and it's all how He is doing it, and it's not Esav and it's not Yaakov. Right? And we don't have a choice whether or not we're going to have an Esav, whether or not, Esav lived in Rivka's house. And he was doing bad things. And there was nothing that they could do about it. Because Mabarif. Why that Yaakov has to have a brother like that. If we would be living like that today, we'd be embarrassed to have a murderer living in your home. Even the most unreligious person doesn't want a murderer in their home. That's who Esav was, a murderer. And Yaakov, Yitzhak and Yaakov, this is what they're dealing with. Why? Honey, Mabarif. It's all kinds. Of course there's pirush and explanation to everything. But why the tzaddik has to go through that? That no one's explaining anything to you. That's not an explanation. There's nothing to explain. The most I can explain to you is that on their level, this is what they needed for their tikkun. So as much as you can explain it, but to think about what Yaakov Avinu went through, probably nobody in history ever suffered more than this man. His daughter was raped. His son was away from him for 22 years. His brother tried to kill him. Ein Sof, his father-in-law. When did he rest? When did he ever have good... But he's our father. This is our Tati. This is Yaakov Avinu. We have to understand we're here for a mission to get to where we need to get to. And that's why we're here. This is what we're going to do.